An absurd and bizarre fairy tale, a mad and fantastical adventure. This is perhaps the most faithful adaptation of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. On a drowsy afternoon, Alice saw a rabbit dressed in a suit and holding a pocket watch. Out of curiosity, she immediately ran after it, only to tumble headfirst into a deep bottomless well. The walls of the well were lined with cupboards, bookshelves, and maps. After falling for what seemed like an eternity, Alice finally landed on a pile of twigs and dead leaves, completely unhurt. She got up and continued chasing the rabbit down a long passageway, arriving at a low hall surrounded by locked doors. On the table lay a golden key. She tried it on the doors one by one until she finally found one that opened, but the door was tiny, only about 15 inches high. Peering through it, Alice saw the most magnificent garden imaginable. She longed to enter, but the door was too small. She couldn't even fit her head through. Returning to the little table, Alice found a small bottle labeled "Drink Me." Cautiously, she took a sip. It tasted delightful, so she drank it all. Immediately her body began to shrink until she was only 10 inches tall. But just as she was about to enter the garden, she remembered she had left the key on the table. Now being too small, she couldn't reach it. Then she noticed a small box under the table, inside of which was a tiny cake marked with the words "Eat Me." After eating it, Alice's body suddenly grew larger again. Though she could now grab the key, her oversized body made it impossible to pass through the little door. Frustrated, Alice burst into tears. After a while, she saw the rabbit come back. Her enormous size frightened it so much that it dropped its white gloves and fan, then ran away as fast as it could. Alice picked up the fan and gloves, fanning herself while grumbling softly. Before long, she noticed that her body was shrinking again. Now I can finally go to the garden, she thought, and ran quickly to the little door, only to realize she had forgotten the key on the table again. "This is just terrible," she exclaimed. No sooner had she said it than she suddenly slipped and fell into a pool of water. It was the very pool formed by her own tears. With no choice, Alice swam toward the shore along with a group of animals and birds. Once ashore, hoping to make friends, Alice cheerfully talked about her cat Dinah, saying how Dinah was an expert at catching mice and could even swallow a bird whole. Her words terrified the animals, who quickly made excuses and left, leaving Alice all alone once more. Later, Alice encountered a caterpillar sitting on a mushroom and smoking a hookah. "Who are you?" the caterpillar asked. "I hardly know, sir," said Alice, "because I've been changing so much." The caterpillar told her that one side of the mushroom would make her grow taller, and the other would make her smaller. Alice broke off a piece from each side and put them in her pockets. Alice went on and came to the March Hare's house, where a tea party was underway. The March Hare and the Hatter were trying to stuff a dormouse into a giant teapot. It was a very peculiar tea party. Time itself seemed frozen at 6 o'clock. "What's the difference between a raven and a writing desk?" the Hatter asked in a frenzy, throwing out nonsensical riddles. Alice found the tea party unbearably dull and soon left. After leaving, Alice found herself once again in the hall full of doors. She took the key, ate a piece of the shrinking mushroom, and at last entered the beautiful garden she had longed for. This was the realm of the Queen of Hearts, a land ruled by playing cards. The queen was irritable and short-tempered, ordering beheadings at the slightest offense. The queen invited Alice to play croquet, using flamingos as mallets and hedgehogs as balls. The game was complete chaos. In a final absurd trial, the queen accused someone of stealing her tarts and even summoned the Hatter as a witness, but his testimony was pure nonsense. Still, with no evidence at all, the queen insisted on beheading the accused. Alice stood up boldly and protested. The queen furiously ordered her out of the courtroom. When Alice refused, the queen shouted, "Off with her head." But as Alice looked around, she realized that all these playing cards were nothing but an illusion. Just as she was about to resist, she suddenly woke up, only to find that everything had been nothing more than a dream.